Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Gamers, having me on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Echo, TJ's Path. So yeah, apparently we're getting close to some really dark secrets being unveiled, so I'm really looking forward to it. Oh man, this game is it's a mind freak, man. This game is a total mind freak. But anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and just jump right back into it, shall we? Please sit back and enjoy for the next 18 minutes of entertainment. Let's jump right in. Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Alright. Oh, excuse me. I talk kind of fast, like I'm trying to take back what I just said. I let go of Toby, but he just sits there and doesn't swing. Carl just stares at the ground, then his ears flick up. A few seconds later, I hear scuffling footsteps making their way up to the dirt road. I turn around to see Sydney jogging towards us. His arms are filled with colorful ice pops wrapped in plastic. Hey, sorry, I had to go in the basement freezer to find some. They're super wolf pops. He stumbles up next to us, kicking up another cloud of dust. He stands there for a second, breathing heavy, sweating through his thick fur. Grab one? The three of us reach automatically and take one of our own. Mine is partially melted already, blue liquid pooling at the end of the plastic. Sydney frowns at us. What were you guys talking about? Nothing. And Carl says it almost before Sydney can finish the sentence. Sydney glares. Yeah, right. What were you saying about me? Sydney turns on me and I just shake my head, busying myself with opening the plastic. And Sydney turns to Toby, his glare turning into a smirk. All right, Tobias. You'd better tell me what you were talking about. I feel my stomach turn even as I open the package and turn it upside down to pour the sweet blue juice into my mouth. Tell me or I'm gonna wrestle you! Sydney goes at Toby with his paws up, baring his blunt claws. Toby eyes him for a moment, but once Sydney gets about close to the lynx twists out of the way like only a cat can. Don't touch me! Toby hides behind Carl as I and Sydney turn to watch him, lowering his paw slowly. What's wrong? Toby doesn't say anything, standing behind me quietly. I can feel his cold ice pop resting against my back. We stand in silence for a while, and I can see Sydney trying to figure out what's going on. I try to think of something fast. Hey, let's go to my house and play on the trampoline. Yeah! And Carl hops out of the swing and starts walking toward the road. I follow him as Toby clings to my side. Sydney doesn't follow, and after a moment I turn back to look at him. He's glaring at me. What? He goes on glaring before throwing his ice pop into the dirt and running past us. You guys suck! He runs up the road and back toward the town, disappearing into the bright sunset. Oh god, Friday. And then that's Friday. TJ gets up early in the morning, and I fall in and out of sleep as he moves around the room quietly. The shower turns on at some point, and I think I can hear Jenna's voice. I fall asleep again. When I wake up next, I see Jenna in the corner of the room, sitting at the little table and typing away at her keyboard, at her laptop. I stare up at her groggily until she notices me. Morning. Still tired. It's almost noon. I rub my face into my pillow and groan. Guess I was up later than I thought. I forced myself to sit up. Couldn't fall asleep. Yeah, I've been having trouble too. The beds are terrible. I look around. Where's Tej? Hike. What? He went on a hike. I sit there, frowning at Jenna. She types a while until she finally notices me staring and shakes her head. I don't know. He wanted to go alone. He's been asking us to go with him all week. I know. I think something's bothering him. Jenna pauses. Well, I know it's a scavenger hunt. Of course that's what's bothering him. I sit on the edge of the bed, rubbing my face with my paws. This was a bad idea. Jenna goes on typing. Maybe, maybe not. He really wanted to do it. I'm gonna try to talk to him when he gets back, though. I stare at my feet for a moment, deciding on whether or not just to text him now. Jenna, do you think there's something weird about the treasure hunt? Jenna doesn't even look up from her screen. Of course I do. I think everything about it is weird. I mean, I don't even know if Sydney put those there. Jenna finally looks up at me. Why not? Just everything seems off. Who do you think put them there, then? I shrug. I don't know. Jenna stares at the computer screen for a while, not typing anymore. Well, the whole reason we're doing this is because of TJ. This seems to be what he wants to do, and even if it was someone else that left them there, I'm going to help him with it. Jenna shrugs. And in the end, all of it is just a treasure hunt. We're just hoping that it ends at the house. Yeah. Jenna goes on typing, apparently done with the conversation, so I finally get up to go to the shower. Breakfast is long gone by the time I go to the lobby, and what's left is a few dried biscuits. So I opt to go to the diner instead, while Jenna opts to stay in the room to finish her paper. I sit at my usual booth in the corner of the diner, half-heartedly flipping through the menu. Janice comes over to take my order, and my short answers to her pleasantries keep her from being too chatty. Once I'm done ordering, I sit back and look out the window, watching the bright sun bake the hot desert below. Imagine TJ out there on the trail, trudging along the path under the 100-plus degree heat. Aside from worrying about what he might be going through right now, I also worry that I might pass out in this kind of weather. I can only hope he had the right... Well, I can only hope he had the right mind to take along enough water to make sure to cool off, like he did to me. I look down at my phone at the table, again considering whether or not I should call him. Maybe a text at least. That guy uses his original model. Hey, man. Then I set my phone back down and wait for a response. Wondering if he might drive out the trail between myself. Wondering if I might drive out to the trail myself if he doesn't. That's when I sense someone move up next to the table. I look up expecting to see Janice, but I'm met with the sight of a young white deer, his clasped paws holding a folded blue apron. I blank on his name for just a few moments, and I'm left with my mouth hanging open like an idiot. Then I remember. Oh, Julian, what's up? Julian smiles. Hey there. My shift just ended, and I saw you sitting here. I wait, but he doesn't go on. Oh, I don't want to say it, but it looks like he's expecting it, and I can't really find a way out, so... Want to sit down? Yeah, sure. Julian responds quickly and slides in the booth across from me, setting his folded apron down on the table. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. I wonder if I sound a little annoyed. A part of me hopes that I do so that he might give the hint like Janice did. But he goes on sitting there, interlocking his fingers and resting his forearms on the table. Oh, excuse me. How are you today? Good. You? Julian shrugs. Yeah, I've been better. This job is really starting to wear me out, you know? Yeah, I've had a few like that. Well, the buck seems nice enough. I don't think I've had more than 5 conversations with the guy in my entire life. He was just a regular face that I saw through middle and high school, a part of the background. It wasn't until the last few years of high school that I noticed him and TJ hanging out, and TJ was the only reason we ever briefly interacted. So I'm a bit confused now as to why he's suddenly taken an interest. Yeah? What sort of job do you have? Well, I'm between jobs right now. I'm going to school, but I'll probably stock shelves over the summer like I did last year. So, that job wore you out? Well, no, but my fast food job did. And when I had in high school, I kind of like stacking boxes and putting stuff on shelves. I see. I think food service jobs are definitely the worst, so I can see why stocking might be a little better. Ooh, excuse me. He breaks off as Janice comes back, setting down my chicken sandwich. Oh, you know Chase, Julian? A little. I know him through TJ. Ah, well, if you see that boy again, let him know that I'd like to chat with him. I look up and Janice gives me a wink before bustling off. I decide to definitely not let TJ know. But anyway, I'm going to school too, over at Mesa, and this diner has some seriously flexible hours. Only reason why I'm still here. At least you guys don't seem very busy, even during the lunch hour. I nod at the 2 or the 3 other occupied tables. Yeah, it's a wonder we're still in business. Probably gonna have to close down in a year or 2. That idea actually makes me a little sad. I look down at my chicken sandwich, feeling a bit awkward at the idea of Julian just watching me eat, so I leave it on the plate for now. Julian leans back and looks out the window. So, where's TJ at? I thought you 2 were hanging out. I get the feeling that this is the main reason why Julian is talking to me. Yeah, he went off on a hike earlier this morning. I slept in. Oh, I see. He still do that a lot? I shrug. I don't know. We've only been here for about a week. He does love going on hikes, though. I mean, does he do that at CCU? I stare at Julian for a second before I realize what he's talking about. Oh, no, I don't go to CCU. I'm at Pueblo. Huh, so you guys met up here? Well, I picked him up and brought him here, along with Jenna, but she goes to Pueblo, too. I grow a little frustrated at having to explain everything to this guy. All I want to do is eat, then go back to the motel and wait for TJ. I see. Well, TJ was my best friend during senior year, and after you and Carl left. We hung out all the time. After he left for college, we kind of lost touch. Huh, yeah. He's not very active on social media. I've only seen TJ post a few pictures since he started classes. A few are of him on the college soccer team, and one was of him standing in a prayer circle along with an inspirational quote. But Julian revealing that he was TJ's best friend towards the end of high school cools my exasperation. I suppose he does have a reason to know what TJ might be up to. He was kind of depressed right after graduation, so I've been a little worried about him. Depressed? That surprises me. I've never known TJ to be depressed. I'm sure he's been sad before, but not outright depressed as far as I know. Maybe I don't know him. Maybe I don't know much about him. I thought it might have had to do with graduation, but it went on all summer. Oh, well, if you want to talk to him, I can definitely let him know. I gesture at my phone on the table. I also make a mental note to myself that I should talk to TJ too, about everything. Julian smiles. That would be great. Please do. I think he must have changed his number after leaving. Okay. Hesitate, they pick up the phone to type out the brief message. Hey, I just met Julian at the diner. He'd like to talk with you. TJ hasn't texted me back. How long have you known TJ? I set the phone back down and settled back into the booth. Since he got here in like 2001, so 14 years ago? Wow, that's a long time! Yeah, it really is. You guys always been good friends? For the most part. I had times where I was kind of a dick to him, but he's always been a good friend to me. I see. Yeah, we all went to the same elementary school, but it wasn't until junior high that I met him in Bible study. Ah, of course. I always knew about you guys, though. The Echo Kids. Yep, that was us, the weirdos. Julian glances around before lowering his voice. It's a mean thing to say, but this town is kind of messed up. Lots of weird stuff happens here. Can't argue with that. Julian looks around again, biting his lip. He lowers his voice another notch. Hey, so this is gonna be a bit weird, and I don't want to offend you, but it's something that's bothered me for a while. I eyed Julian warily. Yeah? TJ told me what happened at Lake Emma a while back when we were talking about death in heaven. I feel a little chill go up my spine. Well, he never actually told me about what exactly happened, but I can tell it really affects him. Julian pauses, but I don't say anything, keeping my eyes fixed on the table. Now, you don't have to tell me, and if it makes you uncomfortable, please don't, but I feel like if I have a better idea of what happened, I might understand him a bit better. Julian brings his interlocked fingers up to his chin to rest it on. I'm not gonna ask him to tell me, of course. I know it was a long time ago, but I know you can carry stuff like that around for a long time. So if you're not okay with it, then please just let me know and I'll change the subject. I contemplated for a moment, wondering if the buck is out of line to be asking about such a thing. I decide he isn't. He's one of TJ's best friends, so in a way, he's sort of connected to it. So I guess he does have a reason to know. Okay, but please don't bring it up with TJ. Like he said, it really affects him. Never. Julian looks at me solemnly. I think for a moment, gathering my thoughts. It's been a long time since I thought about the story from beginning to end. It was around August, I think, 2003. It's a little bit hard to remember. What I do remember is that we'd all gone down to the lake to swim like we did almost every week. There's this little spot where the beach kind of curves in, and it's mostly sand and just in shallow water. That's where we usually hang out and swim. Even though the water was always sort of stagnant there, it was at least safe and warm compared to the rest of the lake. I think at some point one of us wanted to go and skip rocks. We had to go further up the shore to do that, and TJ was more interested in building sandcastles. So he stayed behind while the rest of us went up to the beach to find the rocks. When you go up that far, you can't really see that spot anymore, so I'm not completely sure what happened. I vaguely remember looking back at TJ as he went up to the beach, the lynx bending over his castle, the back of his wet swim trunks covered in sand from when he'd sat down. Sydney went with us, I at least remember that, and while we were skipping rocks, he just sort of disappeared. I glanced up at Julian for a moment to see him listening attentively before I looked back down at the table. Anyway, we heard some splashing and some shouting from TJ, and we all ran at the beach to see Sydney floating out in the lake. I swam out there and got him, but too late, though. I don't mention the part where TJ was crouched in 3 feet of water, staring at Sydney's body floating 20 feet away from him. I don't tell him that TJ's explanation for what happened always amounted to Sydney stepping out too far into the water. That maybe the current knocked him off balance and pulled him in. How he'd even said it almost looked like an invisible shark had grabbed Sid and pulled him out. Oh, none of it makes any sense at all. None of us are sure what happened. It seems to be enough for Julian, though, as he shakes his head. I'm very, very sorry to hear that, but thank you for telling me. All I know is that a friend of his drowned in the lake. He didn't tell me how close he was to it. It makes sense why that would still affect him deeply. No problem. I realize that Julian is probably the first person that I've ever told the story to outside of Echo. I also realize that it wasn't hard at all to do. I suppose it's easier to tell someone who wasn't related to the incident, someone that has no connection to the raw horror of that day. That, and a lot of time has passed. Maybe I just got over it without even knowing. But yeah, Echo's a crazy place. You know about that mass hysteria thing that happened 100 years ago? This place is kind of famous for that. Almost all the paranormal podcasts I listen to have an episode on it. My heart skips a beat as I suddenly remember my project. I cover my face with my paws. Shit. What's wrong? Did I say something? I uncover my face to see Julian looking at me with some concern. No, I just forgot about some schoolwork that I need to get done. A project. The excitement around the scavenger hunt completely wiped the thought of it from my mind. Oh? What kind of project? A news report on Echo, that mass hysteria incident. I've barely done anything on it since I first got here. Hey, that's so cool! Do you need help? I blink, the book's eagerness surprising me. For the first time, I see him become embarrassed, the skin on the inside of his ears turning a dark red. I'm sorry. It's something that I've always interested me, so I got a little excited. I glance down at my phone and see that I still haven't gotten a response from TJ, so I get an idea. Despite my initial annoyance, I like how considerate Julian was about the whole lake incident. I also want to give him a chance to see TJ before the end of our trip. Well, actually, I've been meaning to get some footage of mine, or at least the opening since it's sealed up. If you want, we can head up there to get some shots and at the same time look for TJ. The trail is in that area. Julian perks up. Hey, that would be really awesome. Thanks. Do you want to eat that first? I look down at my sandwich, then shake my head. I'll just eat on the way to the motel. Oh, I got my truck. I can drive you over, and there's a bunch of room if you need it for your equipment. Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks. Just let me get a to-go box, and we can leave. 20 minutes later, and we're heading up the narrow canyon road toward the mine. I haven't been there in years, but the dirt road leads straight to it, so I don't even have to look up instructions. Julian chats away while I eat my lukewarm sandwich out of a foam to-go box. While there's an almost robotic quality to the buck with how articulate he is, he's also really nice. I can certainly see why TJ would call him a friend. The bumpy road curves upward, and finally we get to the mine. There's a wide open dirt space for parking, along with some concrete barriers along the edge of the drop-off. There are a few signposts, probably giving a brief history of the mine, and then there's TJ. The Lynx is sitting in the opening of the mine, right at the entrance. He's leaning back against the rebar grid that sealed the entrance. What the... Julian stops talking and looks over at me, then in the direction I'm looking. Whoa, is that Tej? I don't say anything because I realize now how limp the Lynx looks. His head tipped back, his paws limply laying on the ground. I'm out of the truck before Julian can even park. My to-go box spilling out onto the gravel as I jog toward TJ. TJ, hey, what's wrong? You okay? Lynx doesn't respond, and when I get to him, I see that his eyes are open, but they're rolled back to the point where I can only see white. I bend over him, trying to help him sit up better, made more difficult by his bulky backpack getting in the way. As I'm doing this, I feel a rush of cold air from the mine, blowing out through the rebar. I ignored it first, focus on trying to get to TJ to respond to me. But then I realize there's a hissing sound to go with it, like someone exhaling. I glance through the grid, but I don't see anything. Still, I get the unnerving feeling that the opening is breathing somehow. Is he alright? Julian, shouting and running up next to me, turns my attention back to TJ. I look down at the Lynx and see his ears twitching around. Huh? What? I crouch down next to him, putting a paw behind his head to give him some support. TJ, what happened? Are you okay? TJ turns to me, blinking in confusion. Okay, what's wrong? He rubs at his eyes with the back of his paw before adjusting himself so that he can sit up straight. You were just sitting there. You almost looked... Julian pauses. Alright, guys and gals, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right here. Thank you all so much for watching. Oh, the creepy mystery defense. I really wonder what happened with TJ and Sydney. No spoilers, guys. No spoilers. I want to find that out for myself. Anyway, y'all, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Have a super thanks or a tip if you can. It always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!